Hi there! This week's video is quick but packed with useful information. I'm going to show you two touchscreen options for the Sovol SV08, the official touchscreen accessory by Sovol and the K-Touch by Bigtree Tech. They are so different that I might even suggest getting both. Or just one of them, but which one? Or maybe neither? Keep watching to find out. I'm Gergo, and you are watching Gergo Print 3D, where I share all my 3D printing adventures and other DIY projects. The list of valuable content keeps growing, so be sure to look around. As with all my videos, I made sure to provide high-quality subtitles, and if you prefer a different speed, feel free to adjust it. The Sovol base device only comes with a bare-bones mini-screen with clicky wheel controls. It covers the basics, but navigation is a bit clumsy. We need to connect over Wi-Fi or Ethernet for a total control over the mainsail web interface of Klipper. Are you happy with the included mini-screen? Or have you already upgraded to a touchscreen? If so, which solution did you go with? Are you considering either of these? Let's help each other out. Share your experience in the comments. A big thanks to the friends at Sovol for sending me this beautiful touchscreen upgrade for the SV08. Unboxing was a breeze. The screen, an HDMI cable, and the USB cable. This is all we need. As other reviewers have mentioned, the case is 3D printed out of black PLA. In my opinion, it looks and feels okay. Aside from the fold-out kickstand, it fits perfectly into its designated spot on the top of the printer in the self-printed top riser. The 70cm cables are designed to easily reach the ports on the right side of the printer. I plugged everything in and powered on the printer. The screen came on, but be sure to follow this order. It has to be connected before we boot up the printer. The familiar Klipper screen interface is just like the one on the SV07 and the SV06, but it is in landscape orientation here. We'll get used to that. What's harder to get used to is that it's upside down. I expected it to be easier to flip, and maybe it is, but I couldn't find any setting on the screen itself. After some research, I did manage to fix it in software. It's a bit involved. I show you the details in the next 2 minutes. Since this is not necessary for every user, feel free to jump ahead to the next chapter if you prefer. Because I had to SSH into the printer using the command you see on the screen, password Sovol, and edit the file for the libinput.conf under the folder structure that you also see on the screen. And it needs to be edited with elevated permissions to be able to save our changes. I had to add a section specifying the rotation as UD, upside down. But that was just half the battle. The screen did flip, but the touch input was still detected in the wrong orientation. So I also had to add this line in the touchscreen section to define the transformation matrix. Check the description of the video. I put all these changes in there for you to copy-paste. Did I overcomplicate things? Please be sure to tell us in the comments if you know of an easier way to flip the screen. So there we go. After rebooting the printer, now it's working flawlessly. If you're finding this video helpful, a like would be greatly appreciated. The screen has good color contrast, and here you can see me cycling through the various idle mode screens. We'll return to the print progress screen and some unexpected surprises there soon, but first let's look at our next contender. A big thanks to the team at Bigtree Tech for including me in the initial testing of this new K-Touch device. The screen size and orientation might be similar, but in every other respect, this is a completely different beast. The screen setup consists of two parts, a charging dock and the battery-operated screen itself that attaches magnetically. They also provide a screw-on mount to stand the screen but it only comes with a short USB cable for charging. This accessory is designed to connect to our printers wirelessly, and with a 20-minute battery life, we can even take it with us around the house. And I intentionally mentioned multiple printers because I can connect all 5 of mine, since it supports up to 50 printers in total. You can see me turning on all my printers here, as this will allow us to add them all in a single go. The software, currently at version 1.0, supports only English and Chinese. Next, we quickly connect to our Wi-Fi. Then the K-Touch scans our subnet for Klipper Moonraker installations. It took about 100 seconds and successfully found all 5 of my printers. After adding them, I had to long press each entry to rename the printers: the Sovo T300, the GD-Tech Q1 Pro, the SVO8, the SVO6 Plus, and finally the SVO7 Plus. All these Klipper printers connected successfully, and I was able to control each one. Switching between the printers is a bit cumbersome in this initial software release, and I noticed it was necessary to wait a few seconds after connection for the first commands to register. As I navigate through the current options, you see they are limited to stepper motor, fan, and temperature controls, with not much else available. However, what is offered seems to work more or less reliably. In my short test, the print selection screen, where we are supposed to see the G-code files on each printer, only worked on my newest printer, likely because the others had more than 50 files, which this screen seems unable to handle. If you check their GitHub page for the K-Touch project, you'll see what's planned for the future updates, including macro and console access, easier switching between printers, multi-printer control commands for fleets, and a few bug fixes. The next update is scheduled for the end of September. We might even get webcam stills eventually, but never buy a device based on promises. What the K-Touch currently offers already makes it a practical device, in my opinion. Here, you can see the two side by side, both displaying the in-print progress screens. A standard Klipper screen is hard to beat. It shows everything you could possibly want to track. Even during printing, it provides access to every setting you see here, including a surprisingly high resolution and high frame rate webcam feed, regardless of its usefulness. This is why I'm often disappointed in companies that opt to implement their own interface, which almost always turns out less polished, with reduced functionality, missing features, and rare updates. I'm looking at you, GD and ComGrow. Why put all that unnecessary effort into creating something subpar, which ultimately becomes the Achilles heel of your product? Of course, when compared to the perfection of the touchscreen add-on for the SVO8, the print progress information on the K-Touch is much more limited. Compare it to the original 4-line mini screen on the other hand, and the K-Touch provides a lot quicker access to all the data and controls. Where the K-Touch truly shines is in its mobility. I was able to move the screen to my computer in a different room and have a dedicated touchscreen to monitor and control all my printers without sacrificing screen real estate on my computer display. Do you need either of these? No. The SVO8 works well with its mini screen. It actually grew on me. As I showed you in a recent video, I was even able to add my own macros and new menu commands. I will link to that video at the end. I'd say the current K-Touch experience is the next step following that clicky screen, offering a more convenient touch interface and limited remote monitoring. Hopefully, Big Tree Tech will continue to improve the software and expand the feature set. At $59, it's a reasonable option, especially if you own multiple Klipper printers, which you'll be able to control all from the same device. Just like you could with an old mobile phone or tablet. In fact, accessing the Mainsail or Fluid web interface of any of your printers on a mobile device would actually be an upgrade from the K-Touch, except maybe for its instant boot time and handy charging cradle. Now, the ultimate touchscreen experience is the Clipper screen, which will display on any HDMI touchscreen you can get from AliExpress for around $50–60. I put a few links in the description. Don't forget to also buy the correct length HDMI and USB cables, and you'll need to print their housing as well. The way I see it, Sovo saves you this extra effort if you pay them the premium price of $99 or just $60 if you order their screen together with the printer. Note that the case they provide only fits the riser, so it will complement, not replace, the mini screen at the bottom of the printer. If you're ordering the printer, a $60 upsell is reasonable in my opinion, but paying $99 to order it separately might make me consider other options. Well, that's everything you need to know about the screen updates. If I missed anything, feel free to ask in the comments. I'm always active in the lively discussions below the videos. Both of these screens are keepers for me, and you'll definitely see them in future projects. If Big Tree Tech releases updates, I'll be sure to cover them. I hope you're subscribed so you don't miss any of my posts. Were you surprised to see a Qidi printer among my Sovos? Check out this video to hear more about it, or see my macro editions for the SVO8 in this. But most importantly, go print 3D. Thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end of another Gergo Print 3D video. I feel truly blessed and deeply appreciative of your support.